Welcome to Hello Malaysia. I am your host Surati Sanusi, and we just saw a clip of from Nasum about today's topic. We are talking about autism, and in conjunction with World Autism Awareness Day. And today in the studio we have Felina Faisal, the Assistant Honorary Secretary of Nasum, or also known as the National Autism Society of Malaysia. Yes. And also we have this very special person, Vincent Wong Mansam. Right. So he is, we can say that he is a resident of Nasum. Okay, so we are here to talk about autism. Now, I think people have heard what autism is, but they do not know what autism is all about. So probably, Felina, you can enlighten us about what autism is all about.
Yeah. So autism is a lifelong disability development.
Okay.
So children with autism have problems in making themselves understood.
Okay.
And also understanding the world they live in.
Okay.
So like for instance, like Vincent here, he is a high functioning autism boy.
Okay.
As he can speak and he knows exactly what he wants to say.
Right.
But there are children who have no speech whatsoever.
Okay.
And parents have a lot of difficulty understanding what's wrong with their children.
Right, because they cannot communicate.
That's right.
Okay,
That's
and
right.
I've also read about autism that there are levels of autism.
That's right.
That there'll be 1, 2, 3. So which level do you think Vincent falls into?
Naim tu jadi apa Naim?
I think he is in a high functioning.
Okay.
Yes, because he could dress himself,
Right.
get to work,
Right.
take the bus and things like that. So he's very highly functioning.
Okay, Vincent, Felina just said that you take the bus
Yes.
to go to work.
Yes.
So where do you live?
Saya tinggal di Ampang.
You tinggal di Ampang. So you naik bus nombor berapa pergi kerja?
Naik sampai Kota Raya baru tukar bas.
Baru tukar, kena naik 2 bus. Wah, tapi you naik sorang-sorang
Sorang-sorang.
You tak takut dah?
Tak lah.
Sudah berapa lama dah you pandai naik bas?
Dekat 7 tahun.
Dekat 7 tahun. Masa mula-mula you naik bus, you takut tak?
Sikit-sikit lah.
Sikit-sikit lah. So sekarang ni dah okey. So selain bus, you naik LRT tak?
LRT ada, monorail, KTM.
So selain daripada tempat kerja, you pergi mana lagi?
Habis balik kerja ke, saya balik rumah lah.
Okay ke? You kata you pergi Mid Valley kadang-kadang.
Itu hari hujung minggu.
Hujung minggu you pergi Mid Valley?
Tak, bukan Medi, saya mana-mana pun boleh pergi.
Mana-mana pun boleh pergi. So tempat yang you paling suka kalau you hujung minggu you nak pergi mana?
Kalau ada car event, saya pergi lah mana ada car event.
Okay. So for your information, Vincent really loves cars. So kereta apa yang you paling suka, Vincent?
Evo, Mitsubishi Lancer.
Evo, Mitsubishi Lancer.
Lamborghini, Gallardo.
Okay. You pernah tengok tak real life depan muka you that car?
Ada?
Pernah naik?
Tak pernah.
Tak pernah naik. Tak ada orang ajak you naik lagi
Tak.
Maybe after this, whoever has Lamborghini or cars like that, Vincent would really like to get inside and just try out the car. And let's go back to autism now. People say that autism, some would say hereditary, and some would say it's vaccination. So many myths out there, but can you enlighten us on which is true, which is not?
There are many thoughts on autism. In fact, research is still being done. So there are people who say it's due to vaccination.
Right.
Vaccination, there are 2 sets of people, one for it, one against it.
Yes.
And of course, research is still being done.
Right.
So it's still no answers there.
Okay.
For me, it could be environmental and pollution.
Okay.
Because as you know, pollution is getting worse
by day.
by day, smog and things like that. Then there's also another one that says it's genetics.
Right.
So if you think about all the factors, I would think all the factors become one.
Contribute.
Yeah, contributes.
Right. It's not only it's not one or either.
That's right. That's right.
Right. In terms of genetics, can we say that it has to come from both parents, or would one parent contribute and enough to get?
As I said, it's not conclusive.
Right.
We still do not know exactly how autism started.
Okay.
And what makes it worse, we don't know how to prevent it.
Right.
Or even to cure it.
I see.
So
Okay.
that's why they call it a lifelong disease.
Okay. And from NASUM, what kind of statistics can you get? How many people are with autism right here in Malaysia?
The biggest problem in Malaysia is we don't have the right statistics
Okay.
because some parents prefer to keep the children at home,
Okay, which is wrong.
which is wrong, of course.
Okay.
So at the moment, it's about 1 in 150 children
One
in
in
Malaysia.
150.
Yeah.
That's a very small number.
But in US, it's already 1 in 50.
Really? Okay.
So I wouldn't say that we don't have those numbers. I think we do, except parents tend to keep the children at home.
Right. And yeah, we were speaking about the levels. Can you name the levels of autism?
I mean, they range from somebody who cannot take care of themselves
Right.
at all and need lifelong support from specialists, therapists, and things like that, to someone who's like Vincent,
Right,
who can take the bus and go
have
to
fun
work.
at Mid Valley.
Yeah, during
right?
weekends. Yeah.
No, maybe one utama also can
One
go.
Utama also can go. That's very far
The
from Ampang.
Curve, Ikano Power Center, all can go anywhere lah.
Okay.
I know.
That's
Sampai
it.
Pyramid.
But you like Damansara area lah.
Yes.
In KLCC and like
Either bed lah. Got car even I go lah.
oh, only car event lah you go. Okay, and also you like to watch football.
Yes.
What
football.
is your favorite football team?
Arsenal and Leeds United 2 team.
Wow. Okay, so not Manchester United.
I'm not interested. Too
Why?
Strong.
Why aren't you not interested in Manchester United?
Too strong for me.
Too strong for Arsenal.
Yes. That's why I like Arsenal.
Okay,
Leeds United.
because they are challenging.
You challenge it.
Right. Who is your best player that you think in Arsenal?
Last time
Last time or right now?
This last time Thierry Henry. This time Alexis Sanchez.
Oh,
Signed from Barcelona.
I see. Okay, so I mean, like you mentioned, you know, he can function very well. On
He's
his
like
own.
an encyclopedia.
Okay.
So whatever he's interested in, he reads up and he retains.
That's the facts.
That's the facts, yes.
Right. So people, you mentioned we had a discussion before we went for this recording. You mentioned that they can recite facts, but not emotion, opinions.
It's difficult to say
Okay.
because, as I said, they are living in their own world. And it's difficult for us to go into their world because we don't really know exactly how they're feeling.
Okay.
Yeah? So sometimes the emotions that govern us, for instance, fear, pain, and
Right,
things like that,
right.
does not affect them at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because my son is autistic.
Okay.
He has absolutely no fear.
I see.
So then we are very fearful
for him.
for him.
Right. When you say there's no fear, that means what? He can just jump, climb.
Yeah, he can sit on the balcony without any feelings of fear.
Or falling.
He'll just cross the road without
Right,
looking
right.
because, to him, there's no concept of a car
Right.
that will come and knock into him.
Can they get hurt because of this emotionless?
Like for him, he is usually very careful.
Okay.
He doesn't fall down that easily.
Okay.
So because of, perhaps there is a balance somewhere there.
Right.
Because he's not fearful, but he's careful.
I see.
You see, so like for Vincent, he already has a little bit of emotions because he said he was nervous coming here.
Yes. He
You
was.
see? Yeah.
Are you still nervous?
Not
Masih
yet.
takut tak?
Tak lagi dah.
Dah tak takut
Tadi
dah?
mula macam takut sikit lah.
Sekarang dah tak takut dah? Sekarang dah relax Okay. So can your child, his name is Naim.
Naim, yes.
Yeah. Can he speak?
No, he can't speak.
Right.
But because we found out that he could sing,
Aha.
so we figured that somewhere along the line he
could,
can speak.
Right.
Yes.
But when he sings with proper pronunciation,
Yes,
with the
yes.
proper words
Yes.
coming out.
Yes. He loves Disney songs.
Okay.
So from young, he's always been watching Disney movies.
Right.
And he could actually repeat
Right.
parts from it.
So I'm guessing "Let It Go" would be his favorite
He
song right
doesn't
now.
like girly movies.
Oh, so that's a girly movie. So now let's talk about, as a parent of an autistic child, when did you discover that your child is a bit different from other children?
He had the normal growing up time.
Okay.
1 year old, crawling, walking, and things like that. Started even speaking, like dog, cat,
Okay.
pointing things. But somewhere at the age about 2.5, he kind of lost it.
Oh, lost it all.
Lost it all.
Right.
So he stopped looking at me. He stopped listening to my voice calling him.
I see.
So I actually thought he went deaf because he had high fever just before that.
Right.
So that's how when I brought him to the doctor and they diagnosed that he was autistic.
Right. So basically, autism, you cannot really detect it when they were small.
It depends. Some children detected immediately because
Right.
there's no eye contact.
Okay.
Some children kind of grew up normal and lost it along the way.
Okay.
And why is it such
Happening,
things?
there's no answer for that.
No answer.
Right.
Yeah,
So, let's take Vincent for example. So maybe when he was younger, maybe he didn't lose it all, but
Yeah.
probably
He retained
the eye contact was he lost a little bit of eye contact. Now, bila you cakap dengan saya, you boleh pandang I tak?
Boleh lah.
Boleh lah.
Sebelah kiri saja kanan, problem sikit.
Kenapa you tak nampak?
Tak rosak.
You rosak mata. Kenapa?
Mata kanan sudah rosaknya. Dulu doktor sudah SAR punya.
Oh, ya ke?
Dekat GH, General Hospital.
Okay. But you pergi travelling, pergi Mid Valley semua okay?
Okay?
Tak ada masalah?
Tak ada masalah.
Okay. So, you were mentioning that, okay, once you got to know that your son was diagnosed with autism, what was your first reaction? How do you feel then?
Of course, at that moment, at that time, because he is now 18.
Okay.
So 16 years ago, there's nothing known about autism.
No information.
No information. You can Google it, of course. At that time, Google just started.
Right.
But you still
Not
don't
enough
understand.
information, yeah.
You know? So there were a few angels along the way that helped me.
Really?
Like the doctor I went to see, he then got me to see psychiatrists, psychologists, and things like that.
Okay.
So he pushed me the way it should have been.
Right. And this is for you, not
Yes.
for the child.
Yes, for
okay.
me. Yeah. Because as far as the child is concerned, he's happy in his
He's
own
not.
world.
He's normal.
He's fine.
right.
You know?
Right. Right.
He's fine. He's being fed. He's being cared for,
Right,
and
right.
things like that. So at that point of time, if it weren't for the psychologists, psychiatrists, the therapists that helped me along the way,
Right.
we wouldn't have known what's wrong with him.
I see. Okay.
You know? So at the end of the day, if there's something not quite right with your child,
Get.
go
Go examine.
go and see a doctor.
Right. Right. And after that, once he was detected with autism, what was the first thing that you do to make sure that everything is going the way it should be?
No, because at that time, you didn't know that it was a lifelong disease.
Okay.
You thought, okay, we can cure it. So we went through every single avenue to try to cure him.
Okay.
I think both of us, my husband and I, think it's a problem we have to fix.
Okay.
So, okay, we're still fixing
It's like
the
disease.
problem.
Okay.
So at the moment, we're still trying to fix the problem.
I see.
But one of the psychiatrists along the way said to me, as long as he's improving daily,
Right.
from what he is, what he was to what he is, it's still good.
Right.
Once he stops improving, then
you
you
get
have
worried.
then you have to see what other things you can do.
Right. Can they stop improving?
I wouldn't know, because I think the most serious cases I've seen, they can't even differentiate color
Right.
or put on their shoes or things like that. So that's the worst case scenario.
Okay.
You know, so like with him, it took a very, very long time to even put on clothes, because he didn't think it was normal to put on clothes.
Really? So he would just go out naked?
Yeah. So
Right.
so it's a growing process.
It's a learning process as
Yeah.
well. Okay.
So yeah, as a parent, you have to learn and you have to teach the child
Right.
what is right and what is wrong.
Vincent, masa you kecil, you rasa macam you ada, did you feel different
Tak.
among other children?
Tak.
You tak rasa?
Lepas jatuh dari tangga, so jadi otak kan demam panas.
Aha.
Lepas tu jadi kan autism lah, demam panas.
Sebab you demam panas.
Lepas tu jadi hyperaktif.
You jadi hyperaktif.
Ha.
So you suka buat apa masa tu?
Sama seperti sekarang lah, suka cakap sorang-sorang, ketawa sorang-sorang.
Ya ke? Okay. So I think he mentioned that he had a fever, and you mentioned that your son had a fever. Could that be a factor?
Honestly, I wouldn't really know.
Okay.
Because much later, when he was about 10, we actually sent him for a full physical examination, and we found out that he had very, very high levels of mercury.
In his
blood,
brain?
yeah.
In his blood?
How it got there,
You have no idea?
we have no idea.
Right.
So it could have
Been
made his
the
brain
cause.
imbalance, or things like that.
Right.
Anything could have happened there.
Right.
Then we stopped looking for a cause, and we started trying to rehabilitate him.
I see.
I think the most important for us with him is he has to be able to live
Take
his own
care
life,
of
take care
himself.
of himself.
Right.
Living skills and things like that.
So since you sent him, do you send him to make sure that he learns how to probably take care of himself?
So initially, because initially we were living in Malacca, and there was absolutely not much
No
professional
facilities,
help.
no.
So we moved to Kuala Lumpur and we found Nasum.
Okay.
So that's where we sent him, registered him in.
Right.
And from a child who was still wearing Pampers, within 3 months he knew how to go toilet.
Really? How old was he then?
5.5.
5.5. Okay. So
So
he could go to the
he could
toilet
go
on his
toilet,
own.
yeah.
Okay.
So then whatever the teacher taught him, we brought back home. So we continued the same process.
Okay, right. Okay, we have to go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll talk more on autism right here on Hello Malaysia.
Current issues, latest headlines, illuminating visuals. Everything right and now on Bernama News.
Halo, apa kabar pemirsa? Salam dari Jakarta. Sebuah program kerjasama Kantor Berita Indonesia Antara dengan Kantor Berita Malaysia bernama kembali hadir menjumpai Anda.
Terima kasih. Sama-sama. 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 Sama-sama.
Satu cerita, satu bangsa, satu Malaysia.
Right, welcome back to Hello Malaysia, and we are talking about autism, and in the studio with me we have Felina and also Vincent from NASUM. And before we went for a break, we were talking about what NASUM does, or services that they provide. So you were saying that you sent your child to NASUM. You had to move from Malacca to KL.
Yes.
And then?
So Naim was registered in NASUM Titiwangsa, which at that time was the headquarters.
Okay.
And NASUM actually helps parents with children with autism.
Right.
So that's their tagline is basically, from cradle to grave.
Okay.
So they start off with early intervention, where if the child is capable enough, they will try to put the child into mainstream schooling.
The normal
The
school.
normal schooling.
Okay.
So of course the children there need help. So from early intervention, the teachers who are teaching them there will follow them to school,
Okay.
because they'll be picked on by other kids.
Obviously.
you know,
Yeah.
And certain subjects they won't be able to do.
Right.
So then they will then come back to NASUM, where they'll do their homework and all that until the parents come and pick them up in the evening.
Really? So that's what they do over there. So Vincent, bila you masuk NASUM?
95 kan?
95, and you were 4 years old?
Ah.
Masa you mula-mula masuk, you rasa macam mana?
Gelisah lah.
You rasa takut sikit lah?
Takut
Kat sana you belajar apa?
Akademik,
You belajar maths,
matematik,
you belajar bahasa.
bahasa.
Okay, tadi dalam video kita nampak you buat apa?
Penting.
Itu weaving.
Ni selalu ikut kawan-kawan apa aksi sebelah kang. Memang tengok bola punya time bola sepak.
Okay.
Sebelah.
And then,
Sebelah.
but sekarang you kerja di NASUM You kerja sebagai apa di NASUM?
Cleaner.
Cleaner, okay. By saying that, can autistic child or now an adult, can they work normally?
I think they can,
Okay.
because we do have one child who went to school, normal school, Standard 1 to Standard 6, got good enough results to go into secondary school, and is now registered, enrolled in a university.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
So the biggest problem with children like this is they will get conned quite easily.
I see. Because they're very straightforward.
They're very straight. They have absolutely no vices in them.
Right. They always look at a person as a nice
Yeah,
person.
they'll believe everything the person is going to
Tell
tell them.
them.
So
Okay.
if somebody comes up to them, give them a sob story that they've lost
We
all
need
their
money,
money and things like that, he will just take everything out from
and
his
give it
bank
to
and
them.
give it to them.
Right. So to avoid all these things, what should what kind of education should we give them to avoid all these things happening? Because at the end of the day, they have to live their own life.
Correct. But I would think they have to work in a safe environment,
Okay.
whereby their money is kept in their account and nobody can access it except for their parents.
Okay.
Banks should know about it, and the environment where they're working should know about it. So then it'll be better.
Right. So gaji Vincent, you beli apa selalu kalau duit? Kalau you dapat duit,
Kat ATM papa pegang.
papa pegang. So kalau you nak duit, you selalu nak beli apa?
Sabun mandi loh.
Sabun mandi.
Masa
Lagi?
cuci badan. Kenapa
You tak ada beli small cars?
Saya tak ada main kereta mainan lagi. Saya stop main kereta.
Oh, you tak main. Kenapa?
Saya berhenti.
Tu you tak mau main kereta-kereta mainan lagi. So you tak ada beli lain-lain barang
Tak.
selain daripada sabun.
Kalau ada motor baru keluar new motor, saya pergi ke katalog.
Oh,
So-
ambil katalog. Oh, okay. So now, basically he can function on day-to-day
can,
basis.
yes.
But the thing is, would an employer I don't think we have a lot of employers would be willing to take
That's
a person like this.
Yeah.
So what do you think that there should be a cooperation between
Because
NASUM?
children like him are very highly technical.
Okay.
Like he likes cars. He can tell you anything and everything on cars.
Right.
So these are perfect children to work for companies that advertise cars. Perhaps as a phone, as a
Telephonist.
who somebody calls, my car is this year,
Right.
and he can immediately tell you what's wrong with the car, when to come for servicing
I
and things like
see,
that.
okay.
He might not be able to work face to face,
Okay.
as in talking to the person,
Right.
but on the phone he'll be perfectly fine.
That's the first I hear, but I think that's a very brilliant idea.
But I don't think it will ever happen, at least not in the
near
next
future.
2 years.
Right.
Because the people who actually get jobs I know of a pianist who plays in a hotel, and he plays 45 minutes, takes 15 minutes break. That's all he does.
Really?
So that's sort of, I've heard of people hiring children like this.
Right. So that is, and I noticed that people or children with autism, they are very, if they like something like music, and like Vincent, he likes cars, they're really into cars.
That's right,
and they
that's
really understand everything about the car.
That's right.
So in a way, it's a plus for them.
Yes, that's
Right?
right. That's right.
But the thing
that's
is, they might be not able to probably take care of themselves, or
it is to find out what their ability is.
Right.
What's their gift?
is there a way to know?
No, unfortunately, no.
So you have to learn. It's
Yeah,
on
yeah.
daily basis.
So like parents, teachers, should just keep in touch.
Uh-huh.
Know exactly what the child's interests are in.
Right.
Like they said, they've got very highly functioning brains. Some for mathematics, some
Yes.
for the arts,
Yes.
some for painting, some for music. So it's to find that particular gift in the
Right.
children.
And you said something about music, because I read that they said Amadeus Mozart is also an autistic person.
Yes, yes.
And he's a brilliant in music.
Yeah, imagine composing a concerto at 5 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
So it shows. The thing is, we need to hone their interest
Yes.
into a way. But the thing is, to detect it at an early stage will be difficult. Right?
I think to detect it is easy,
Okay.
but for the parents to accept that something is wrong with their child, that's difficult.
I see. Were you having that kind of feeling then?
Initially,
Really?
initially, but then because we are fix-its, so we were trying to fix it.
I see.
And we're still trying to fix it. Yeah?
Okay.
So
Ya, Vincent, bila you tahu yang you suka kereta?
Tahun 95 juga.
Masa you masuk Nasum, you tahu suka kereta?
Ya.
Apa yang buatkan you suka kat kereta?
Saya tengok itu iklan kereta.
Aha.
Bila tengok je,
Aha.
lain internet lah. Buka YouTube, tengok iklan kereta. YouTube sampai sekarang.
Oh, YouTube, you semua tengok kereta saja. You tahu pasal engine tak?
Tahu.
You tahu pasal engine? You tahu, okay, itu apa tadi you sebut? Mitsubishi
Lancer,
Ah.
Evo,
dia pakai engine apa?
turbo charger.
Really? Lagi? Apa lagi dia punya komponen dalam?
Tak pastilah.
Tak pasti. Okay, if a car that you like is available to you, would you like to take it back home?
Mestilah mau.
Ya ke? So macam mana you nak belajar? You kena belajar bawa kereta.
Tak pernah.
Tapi you kena belajar lah kalau ada orang bagi you kereta, betul? So boleh tak you kalau I suruh you belajar bawa kereta? Boleh?
Boleh.
Boleh ya?
Aunty su bawa kereta apa?
Aunty Su tak ada bawa kereta besar. Aunty Su bawa kereta kecil saja.
Kereta apa?
Kereta Pro 2.
Pro 2.
Pro 2.
Model?
Okay. Aunty Su is very put on the spot, but Aunty Su bawa kereta Pro 2 Viva.
Viva.
Only. Okay tak kereta tu?
Boleh lah.
Boleh lah.
Latest Asia sekarang keluar.
Asia. So which one is better? Asia or the Viva?
Sama pattern.
Sama pattern? Sama engine kan?
Horsepower tak sama.
Tak sama horsepower? Which one is better?
Sekarang Asia lah. EEV mah, Energy Efficient Vehicle.
So my car tak ada energy efficient vehicle lah.
Ada.
So I should be changing my car after this?
Yes. Auto ke manual?
Manual. I like manual car. I don't like auto car.
Rugi lah auto.
Kenapa? Kenapa rugi?
Kalau jam, kalau auto dia relax sikit.
See, I
see what I mean?
I can have a conversation.
Yes.
But for your information, I do have family members who have autism as well,
Yes.
and I can barely speak to her.
Yeah.
So there would be autistic child
Yes.
who cannot
That's right.
relate to
Yeah.
the environment
That's
or
right.
to the surroundings.
So they are in worse danger because they need 100% care.
I see.
So like him, he remembers even the date that he went to
Yeah.
school.
Right.
And he knew how he felt.
Right.
So that's wonderful, you see.
Right.
So because sometimes my son is non-verbal.
Okay.
I don't know what he remembers, what he knows,
Right.
what he doesn't know.
But you told me about something that you discovered that you were shocked to know that
Yeah.
he knows that.
Because when the iPad came out, so we read so much about iPad and its capabilities, so we got him one. In fact, he still holds the original iPad that came out 3 months when it first came out.
Okay.
And he did not drop it. You would expect he would drop it in the
Right,
spot. No,
right,
it's still there, except the battery is running down.
Okay.
So we found an app. It's called Verbally. So it verbalizes what you type.
Okay.
So then we discovered he could spell.
I see. Okay. You didn't know
We didn't know
this?
because he couldn't tell us that he could spell.
right.
You see, he went to school, did academic bit, wrote down everything the teacher asked him to write, but we didn't know that it could be retained.
Right. So by now he's writing to you. Can he tell you how he feels about certain stuff by writing now?
The other day we tried something with him when we first bought the iPad, the apps for him. So there's a yes and no button.
Okay.
So that's easy enough for him.
Right.
So we asked him, do you like school? Yes.
Uh-huh.
Do you have friends in school? Yes.
Right.
Do you like your sister? And he said yes. Then do you like Oma? Oma is his nephew.
Okay.
Okay.
Oma has visa.
Oma, and I'm sorry, Oma's my nephew,
Okay.
his cousin.
Okay.
So he said no, he doesn't like Oma because he gets all the attention now because a baby.
No
you see.
more on him.
Yes,
okay.
right. Then we asked him, do you like your bapa?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So do you like your ibu? And then he said no.
No to Ibu.
Then we said, why you don't like ibu? Then he spelled Love.
So he doesn't like you, but he loves you.
That's right. So then I realized he also understands the
The
emotion.
meaning of the
Yes.
words as well,
That's
which
right.
is, I think it was shock to you,
Oh
right?
yes, it was a tissue moment. Definitely.
But it's a learning process day.
Yes.
So you learn something new every day about him,
True.
right?
Yes.
Do you think it's easier to take care of him now than before?
It's different problems. When he was young, he didn't know what was good behavior and bad behavior.
Obviously, okay.
So he couldn't do things like wait, sit. He was very hyperactive. Now he's 18. Again, different problems.
Right. This is the
Anxieties of teenage, yes.
teenage
Yeah.
problems.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so difficult to try to explain what's happening to his
body.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
as a
that
man.
part is growing as his age is.
Right,
but
and
his
he doesn't
mind is not.
understand.
Yes.
Okay, right. We need to go for another short break, and when we come back, we'll talk more on autism right here on Hello Malaysia.
Menongkah batasan masa, mengupas isu semasa, menjadi saluran pelbagai suara, segalanya baru dan benar di Berita Bernama TV.
And welcome back to Hello Malaysia with me, Felina, and also Vincent. We are talking about autism, and right now we want to talk about awareness. Are we having enough awareness on autism, or people are still, in dark about what autism is all about? And because I know some parents are being ignorant about it.
I think it's not so much ignorance. I think it's also denial.
Okay.
So I think in bigger cities like KL, maybe Penang, JB, people know there is such thing as autism. But those in the kampongs, where there's something wrong with the child, can't go to school, so then they keep the children at home.
Right.
Because they know something is wrong, but
Okay.
they don't know that these children can learn.
Right. Because lack of information.
Yeah.
right?
So lack of information, one thing, and also they're maybe ashamed that something is wrong with
with
the
a child.
And usually a lot of these parents blame themselves.
Obviously,
you know? So I must have done something wrong.
Right, it
or,
must be
you
my
know,
genes.
Yeah, things like that, you know.
Right.
And sometimes it's not that, it just happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they need to learn it's not their fault. At
That's
first,
right.
it's not their fault.
That's right.
And find ways to educate the children.
That's
So,
right.
speaking of awareness again, so what kind of awareness has NASUM done so far?
So like next month is April, which is the Autism Awareness Month. Of course, thanks to you, we're going to get this in April.
Right.
We have this Autism Walk,
Okay.
and we've always collaborated with Cheetah Mall.
Uh-huh.
So we get the children to walk with the family and friends.
Okay.
And we get a lot of people coming in to promote it.
Right.
KLCC does their Purple Day where they promote autism.
Right.
Yeah, so we have lots of
Activities.
companies who are using NASUM as their CSR.
Okay.
So when they start doing that, then the awareness goes further.
All right. So the walk and the Purple Walk are the public can join? Can the public join in?
Oh
as
yes,
well?
yes. I mean, the first time we had a walk, I think we had only about less than 100 people.
When was this?
About 2 years ago.
Okay.
But last year we had like a bumper crowd of 700 people
Really?
walking. Yeah.
This is at the Cheetah Mall that you
Cheetah Mall
mentioned.
itself, yes.
Vincent pergi that walk?
Pergi saya tak tahu tahun saya pergi ni.
Ya ke?
Tak tahu bila ini tahun bila lah Autism Walk.
Ada. This year ada.
Yeah, I think they're having it May.
Before May lah, sebelum May.
May 23rd, I
Okay,
think.
kalau tahun ni ada, you nak masuk, Vincent?
Masuk.
Mesti
setiap
masuk.
tahun.
You boleh jalan. How many kilometers would that usually
Tak
be?
tentu.
About 4.5.
4.5 km.
Yeah, 4.5.
So for 4.5 you boleh buat lah, tak ada masalah.
Tak.
Tak ada masalah. So
I went to see teacher John, jumpa sama cikgu John, cikgu Pandai Putri.
okay. So dan selalu kalau macam walk, would you bring your father along?
Tak, saya pergi sendiri.
You pergi sendiri.
Naik bas.
You tak ajak your father.
Papa tak mau pergi.
Papa tak nak pergi, kenapa?
Dia mau tidur.
Dia mau tidur. Okay. Lain kali dia cakap lah, kita jalan sama-sama.
Dia tak mau.
Dia tak mau. Sebab dia kerja lah.
Kerja.
Okay. So you were talking about the Purple Walk. If I'm not
Purple Day
Sorry,
awareness.
Purple Day. So
yeah, this is KLCC Surya.
So autism is purple. Is that
The tag color is purple.
okay?
Yes, yes.
So this is being done by KLCC.
Yes.
Do you know the day that this is going to happen?
Usually that whole month of April and May.
I see.
So like my son Naim, after they found out that he can't do academic, what they teach him then is living skills.
Okay.
So living skills, they do quite a few things. They learn to beat, they learn to make things.
Okay.
They learn how to survive day to day, sweep the floor, take out rubbish, and all
Okay.
that sort of thing.
Okay.
So then I found out that he loves to beat jewelry.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So then he beats all the jewelry. He can just sit there and beat
Do
the jewelry.
it. Right.
And so these are the things that products from the children of NASUM which they sell.
I see.
So like for him in the clip, he was doing some weaving.
right.
So that weaving is also sold. You know, they make table runners and things like that.
Right. So those will be sold off.
Yes,
And be
yes.
part of.
I mean, at least he's proud that he's done something. And he could sell it, you know,
Okay.
and you know, he makes some money there.
By saying that, I want to ask Vincent. Vincent, so every day you pergi kerja pukul berapa?
Pukul 9 sampai 3:30.
9 sampai 3:30. So you sampai NASUM, you buat apa dulu?
Sapu mau luar
Lepas tu?
tingkap, lepas tingkap makan tengah hari.
Oh, makan tengah hari.
Lepas makan tengah hari cuci semua tanda.
Aha.
Sapu bawah, mop bawah, buang sampah.
Aha.
Lepas turun sapu atas lah. Last kali.
Last kali
Baru
sapu
bawah.
atas.
Baru boleh balik.
Oh, so pukul 3 you balik.
3:30.
3:30 you balik. So you ambil bas.
Ambil bas.
Terus balik Ampang. You tak ada pergi singgah KLCC dulu ke?
Ada pergi tu Kinokuniya bookshop, bookstore.
You beli apa dekat sana?
Baca buku.
Buku
magazine.
baca. Your favorite book will be
Automobil.
Automobil juga. Okay, so basically we know that he likes
My
automobile
news.com.
very much, and he can function. I mean, he can basically he can work right now.
Yes.
Right.
He can work, he can take the bus himself, and
Right.
I would love to have my son to be like him.
Right.
You know, at least I know
Probably
how he's
he
feeling.
would.
Yeah,
you know,
hopefully. Yes,
with the
yes,
education with NASUM.
Yes.
It would, and I believe NASUM would upgrade their education system or something like that.
Because I think most important in any of this is the parents' awareness, and the parents must
Be part of it.
Not only part of it, but continue what the teachers are teaching.
Okay.
It doesn't work if you send a child, the teachers teach you how to do this,
Right.
and you bring them back and you don't follow.
I see.
Like for instance, like when Naim started not wearing Pampers, so the teachers taught him every 2 hours go toilet.
Oh, okay.
So during Saturday, Sunday, we have to do the same thing
Right.
because he wouldn't understand that if you have the urge, go toilet.
Right. And he doesn't understand Saturday, Sunday.
Yes,
Right?
That's right. So then you have to like every 2 hours bring him toilet, every 2 hours bring him. But now he can actually tell me toilet.
Okay.
So
But is it still 2 hours or when
no,
he
no.
feels like
Now
going
he
to
can
the...
actually tell me I want to go toilet.
I see.
So that's a hell of an improvement.
Right,
you see?
right.
But we have to continue what the teachers do.
Okay. And I forgot to ask you this. Let's say, I mean, as a parent of an autistic child, what you told me that he lost all his words. I've read somewhere that, you know, if you see children started stacking stuff, that is also one of the...
They have a lot of repetitious movement.
Okay.
They like to spin, they like to flap their
Rock.
hands,
They
they
like-
like to rock. They arrange things over and over again the same way.
Okay.
So they have a lot of this repetitious movement that you know there's something not quite right.
Right. Would they be OCD as well?
Some have bits and differences here and there. Like for Naim, he's very textile. He touches.
Okay.
He doesn't like certain texture. He doesn't mind certain texture.
Right.
So it also is the same with the food. He doesn't like anything that's soft. So no ice cream, which is good for me. Yes. He doesn't
Okay.
like is it
Chocolates?
But the chocolate, he's fine with it. But
Right.
nothing gooey and gushy.
Okay.
So they have their certain preferences, eccentricities and things
Right.
like that.
Okay. Vincent, apa yang you tak suka?
Tak ada orang mau layan dengan saya.
Tak mau apa?
Tak ada orang mau layan dengan
Tak
saya.
ada orang layan. Alah.
Sebab tu saya cakap, terpaksa cakap sorang-sorang.
Ayah. Kita semua layan you dekat Nasum, ada orang cakap dengan you tak?
Ada lah, setengah-setengah lah.
You punya kawan-kawan kat sana? Tak ada.
Ada. Clarence kan sudah tak ada.
Clarence
Oh,
sudah pergi mana?
Piano. Itu ada main competition tu, singing competition dekat Shanghai, China.
So dia menyanyi dekat sana. Dia main piano atau dia menyanyi?
Dua-dua pun ada.
Okay. You boleh menyanyi tak?
Malu.
Main music pun tak boleh?
Tak boleh, malu.
Malu juga. So apa you suka? Selain kereta lagi apa yang you suka?
Bola sepak,
Nah, lagi bola lagi? You punya makanan you suka apa?
makanan janji kenyang.
Janji kenyang. Semua pun boleh makan lah macam tu. Ice cream.
Boleh?
Nasi. Favorite?
Chicken.
Chicken chop.
Chicken chop tak sampai hati makan mahal.
Mahal. Chicken rice?
Boleh.
Chicken rice okay. See, I mean, I like having this kind of conversation because he knows what he wants.
Yes.
And I think it's
It's the same with Naim.
Right.
His favorite chicken rice.
okay.
Yeah,
Probably
we can
it's
go
the
anywhere.
taste.
Chicken rice is the taste, and I suppose again, as I said, the texture.
I
it's
see.
rice, chicken, and soup.
I see. Okay, the other one is when I read about autism, it says about Asperger. Am I saying it
Yes,
right? Asperger?
yes. Yeah.
What is that?
Asperger's are children with autism, but who can speak like him.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
So they're usually higher functioning
okay.
because when they speak, they also, I think,
Yeah.
they understand.
Aunty
Okay.
Felina mau naik belajar naik bas macam saya.
So
Tapi-
Vincent boleh ajar?
Boleh. Tapi sana itu tempat tak ada bas oh. Mungkin Taman Sarah High.
Tak ada bas. LRT pun tak ada kan?
Sana mau bikin MRT mah. Tinggal fikir,
Oh,
Mak.
itu banyak construction MRT kan?
MRT. Nampak lagi 4 kena sampai masa 4 tahun baru boleh naik 4 tahun.
Okay, he has that details, okay?
Yeah.
Sekarang dia tengah bikin lah itu MRT.
Tengah bikin lah. So nanti bila MRT siap, you boleh bawa Naim keluar.
Boleh?
You boleh ajar dia naik LRT.
MRT.
MRT, okay.
Boleh.
Excuse Auntie Sue. She says LRT, but it's MRT.
Sampai Wang Utama.
Sampai Wang Utama, nanti you bawa pergi jalan-jalan lah. Pergi.
Boleh?
Okay. Alright, okay, we have to go for another commercial break. And when we come back, we'll talk more on autism right here on Hello Malaysia.
with 3 Hour Mangrove.
Bicara isu semasa. Merangkumi segenap ruang. Semuanya dalam ruang bicara secara langsung Isnin hingga Jumaat hanya di Bernama TV.
Issues, latest headlines, illuminating visuals, everything right and now on Bernama News.
And welcome back to Hello Malaysia with me, Sue, Felina and also Vincent. We're talking about autism and we have discussed the autism symptoms and the levels of autistic child. And now we would like to educate the public. We talked about the parents and you mentioned that parents should not be in denial if they have such and such children. And now let's educate the public, because sometimes public would just stare, would just behave differently towards these people. So what would you recommend? What would you ask or advise?
I would say, I take Naeem out every weekend.
Okay.
Because children with autism do not like crowds. They don't like lots of people.
Really?
But so that they can, fit in.
He goes to Meat Valley every weekend.
No lah.
Oh no.
Sekali-sekala lah.
Sekali-sekala. So kalau orang ramai you suka? You tak kisah ada
Tak
orang
kisah.
ramai.
Because he believes in blending in.
Okay.
Yeah, he believes in blending in.
Right.
Whereas Naeem, when he has all this, he gets agitated.
Right.
Then he starts flapping.
I think as most autistic kids would have that.
So he gets agitated, he starts flapping, he covers his ears because of the sounds that's hearing.
Flapping,
Sound.
what's that?
Flapping. That's basically.
Okay.
Saya lain sikit. Saya takut itu bunyi apa? Sembura asap. Itu Aedes punya.
Itu you takut. So kalau bunyi tu you buat apa?
Tinggal itu bunyi saya lari lah.
Lari?
Yeah.
Ke you masuk dalam bilik, you tutup telinga?
Sebelum dia mari tumbuh, saya terus keluar rumah.
Ya ke? Tapi kalau kereta tu ikut you nanti macam mana?
Takkan ikut lah.
Takkan ikut.
Boleh elak punya.
Boleh lah. Okay. So you were saying?
So they don't like certain sounds.
Okay.
So Naeem never liked
Crowded places.
Because he cannot tune out. He will hear what you say, what the person said, and so it becomes like very unbearable for him.
Right.
So then he starts flapping. Then you can see the public. They will either, shirk
Avoid.
away from him,
Okay.
run away from him, whisper to their children, he's crazy,
Start
and things
pointing.
like that, start pointing,
Right.
So I just want the public to realize autism is not contagious.
Okay.
If you have it, you have it. So you should just embrace it and treat them like normal people, because at the end of the day,
Right.
like Vincent, he
Right.
wants to be treated like a normal person.
Okay. But like you mentioned, if he cannot function in a crowded place, how could we as a public, help that part out?
I mean, if you know me or something, just come up. Hey, hello, how are you,
Right,
Naeem?
right,
He
right.
might not look at you and things like that. But because you accept him as another person, perhaps, he could change. He could be better.
Right.
So like we accepted Vincent.
Okay.
We speak to him like normal.
Right.
A little bit of idiosyncrasies, but we accept it.
Right.
So if everybody can accept an autistic children like what we're doing now, I think, life would be ideal.
Right. And probably they could learn a little bit more.
Yes, of course.
Right.
Through acceptance.
And what about these people who have, like you mentioned, start pointing? I mean, as a parent, when people start doing that, start pointing to your child, how would you react? Would you,
Well, I've got a skin as thick as an elephant's
Okay,
hide.
right.
But it used to affect my daughter,
Okay.
his sister.
Okay.
You know, she used to cry and she say, "Why can't people see?"
This is the little sister or big
older
sister. Okay.
So I could see it's difficult on her,
Right.
and I think it's difficult on some parents.
Okay.
So if people could be more acceptable, understand that it's not through anybody's fault that he's jumping or things like that, then life would be much easier for parents with autistic children.
Okay.
And if parents with autistic children bring their autistic children out more often,
Right.
and people see them more often,
Right.
then the awareness is then there.
Right. Okay, besides that kind of awareness coming from the parents, you mentioned that from NASUM there would be some awareness as well. And besides NASUM, I know there are other associations that does educate
Oh yes,
autistic
of course,
children as well.
NASUM is an NGO
Okay.
that was started just to help parents with children autistic. But now what happens is a lot of places have opened up to cater for people who have the money to pay. I know of centers charging thousands, but what's the difference in those centers is a very holistic center. They have the specialists there, they have the teachers there, and they have more person to person. NASUM is basically an early intervention center, an academic center trying to put kids to school, and of course living skills and teaching them vocational.
Okay.
You see,
Right. Like what Vincent has learned.
So he went through the whole stage.
Right.
Early
And now he's
intervention.
working with
yes,
NASUM.
that's right.
So sudah berapa lama you dekat NASUM?
6 tahun lah.
6 tahun. So you suka tak sekarang nak kerja dekat NASUM, you suka tak?
Boleh kau dengan cikgu,
Kawan dengan cikgu?
gaul.
Oh, bergaul dengan cikgu. Lagi?
Karena budak autism.
Oh, you ada ajar dia apa-apa tak? Your fellow friends?
Tak ada siapa.
Tak ada, you cakap saja dengan dia lah. You ada tolong dia kalau macam dia tak dapat nak handle ke, you tak ada. You cakap saja dengan dia. So, I mean, I read that somewhere that autistic children, it's not because they cannot understand you, it's because everything, it feels very, they can see everything in a bright colors and everything is so loud.
They live in their own world,
Right.
of which people still don't understand what is their world.
The cause especially.
So if we can just allow them to live in their own world, slowly bring them out like
Right.
him,
Right.
and slowly give them the attention and the care which they need. So perhaps it might not be a lifelong disease after all.
Okay. Right. We are almost to the end of the program probably. Vincent, you nak cakap apa-apa tak pada everybody out there?
Terima kasih studi jemput saya.
So, you suka tak masuk TV?
Suka, soal lama tak masuk TV.
Sudah lama tak masuk TV? Okay, lepas ni you boleh beritahu your father, your sister, your brother and your friends,
After my mother passed away.
Oh, okay. So sorry about your mother. So anyway, and from you, Felina, what would you like to say to everyone out there?
Don't keep your kids at home. Bring them out. See a doctor. See a specialist.
Right.
And get help.
Right. And NASUM could provide that kind of service,
yes.
So if you need any information, you can go to the website, and probably call the NASUM. Okay. Right. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, Vincent. Thank you, Felina. Thank you so much for being with us. And thank you so much for tuning in to Hello Malaysia. Until we meet again real soon, I'm Surati Sanusi. Goodbye.